workshop is
I just started the recording, sorry. Go ahead, Andrea.
the next workshop is personal credit on June 22nd at 6 p.m., followed by the following week on June 29th on the power of business credit by author Jacqueline Thomas. She wrote a book called The Power of Business Credit, and she will be speaking to us on the 29th about the business credit. And then July, we'll have one on effective communications, and every week after that, we'll have a different one until August.
Oh, the calendar. Someone's asking, is there a link? Yes, please visit our website, www.mpservicesdc.com. We'll put it in the chat. And you can register for all of the classes there. And also you can sign up to receive all of our email blasts as the workshops come up. So I think I gave a brief overview of our program. I will be around if you have questions of me. We normally try to keep our workshops around an hour, maybe a little bit over. But if you have questions, it's all interactive. You can raise your hand, or I'm not sure, Melissa can let you know how she would like to control her meeting. Most people put it in the chats, or you can raise your hand and she can address any questions. But as I stated, we're excited because we are getting ready to hear a lot of good information from Melissa on global marketing. And I will turn it over to her. But before I do, I wanted to make sure you guys understand that we have a survey that we'll put in the chat near the end. It's 2 surveys. One is a survey for MP Services. And what that is just to give us a feel of how we're doing. We get feedback from you guys, or what it is you would like to see, or if you need help with anything. So if you could please fill that survey out, it helps us. It helps us to monitor where we are and how well we're doing. And then we also have a poll that Melissa will talk about that we're going to send out, that if you're interested, she has a great program over there. And as MP Services, for as far as resources, we're going to try to help sponsor or offset some of the costs if you qualify for her program. So be sure to fill out her poll as well. And we're going to select someone there to receive some assistance from MP Services. But everything else, she'll give you the details on. You're free to reach out to Melissa directly after this and see what else she has to offer. So someone has their hand up, but I will turn it over to Melissa as soon as we see if there's a question. Whose hand is up? You can speak.
I wanted to know if all of these sessions would be on Tuesday night.
No, we try to switch them different days. The next 2 just so happen to be on Tuesdays.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
And if that's an issue too, if there's a day you prefer, please let us know, because we try to accommodate as many people as we can. And they're all recorded. So if you would like to request the recording, everyone who's on here and who's registered, you will be able to get a copy of the recording. Okay, Melissa, I'm turning it over to you. And if you guys have some questions, you can hold yours for me at the end, and I'll be in the chat and listening in. Thanks, guys.
Okay, good evening, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. My name is Melissa Muhammad, and I'm so honored to be here tonight. I want to thank MP Services for inviting me on to talk about global marketing. It is anything international is my passion. So I'm so happy to be here to share with you all. If you have a question, if you would put it in the chat and put hashtag in front of it. And then if you could help me by going through the chat and letting me know the questions at the end, I want to go through some slides and tell you about what I've come to know and how we've come to get here. So if you would bear with me one moment and allow me to share my screen. Are you all able to see my slides? Tell me when you can see them.
Yes, we can see them.
Okay, awesome. So we are the Black and Global Business Network. And I want to give you a little introduction about who we are and how we got to this point. So I am an international tax attorney, and people always ask me, what is an international tax attorney? I never heard of such a thing. Does that even exist? So it does. And I actually love what I do for a living. So I have worked for the largest economies in the world, the US economy, the Japanese economy. I work largely with the Chinese economy and the Indian economy, and I help them with multinational corporations. So most people don't know that when a corporation is operating in more than one country, they have to pay tax in whatever country they're operating in. And so the government will have teams of people that will travel around the world and basically negotiate deals on how much profit will be reported in each country, because wherever you are operating, you generally have to pay tax. Well, Uncle Sam, I call Uncle Sam Uncle Sugar. Uncle Sugar is one of the exceptions to that, because no matter where you are in the world, Uncle Sugar wants a piece of the pie. So the US has the largest network of international tax attorneys that they send around the world to basically sit down with other governments and say, you know, how can we carve this up? And so what's very interesting in my 20 years of doing this, I have lived on 3 continents. I've traveled to more than 50 countries. Part of my responsibility has been training tax officials in different countries. And so I've trained tax officials in 153 nations. And every place I go, it's always businesses that are coming to the government to say, hey, help me expand around the globe. Hey, help me go into this market and get an agreement that if I do business in a certain way, I can operate and not have to go through being audited. And I've seen many, many, many different types of companies. But in my 20 years of doing this business, one thing that I have never seen, ever, is a Black-owned company. Never. And I started to ask the question, Melissa, why don't you see Black-owned companies coming to the government, asking the government to help them expand around the world? And there are Black multinational corporations. There are many Black companies that operate in different countries, but I've never seen one come to the government. So I have a friend who works for the Jamaican Tax Authority, right? So I was talking to her one day, and I just assumed, I said, listen, I'm thinking about starting this group where I can get our companies and our people to go to the government to access services to help them grow around the world. And I said, I'm sure you all have in Jamaica, you have a lot of Black-owned companies. You've done this business for 20 years like I have. How many Black-owned businesses have you seen come to the Jamaican government to ask you all to help them grow around the world? Can you believe she said not one? Can you believe she said not one single solitary Black-owned business? So I decided that the reason that our people do not know that the government will help you expand around the world is because, Melissa, you haven't gotten the word out. And so I formed the Black and Global Business Network. And the purpose of the network is to get our people to first become aware that the government will help you expand around the globe and how you can do it. So I wanted to share some of the countries that I go to. And these are examples of me in different parts of the world where I'm actually working with tax officials in different countries, and I'm teaching them. I go to Japan to teach their tax officials. I'll go to China to teach their tax officials, to Korea, to China, Paris. I go to different places in the world, and I spend all this time training other people how to do this business. And when I tell you, I see billions, and I'm not talking small dollars, I see billions of dollars every day. And none of that money ever comes into our community. And I decided that I wanted to make a difference. So who are we? We move businesses from concept to contract. And the Black and Global Business Network, we play the pivotal role of globalizing our network to globalize our net worth. And the focus for us is no matter where you are in the world, if you're Black and global, this network is for you. So here's our vision. Our vision is 10,000 plus Black-owned businesses generating trillions of dollars in international trade and commerce. That is the goal that we have. That is the vision that we see. And our aim is to help Black-owned companies export capital, goods, services, and intangible assets, and to create jobs, and more jobs. Because the American government, the US government, spends billions of dollars in resources. And if you're creating jobs, then they will help you to grow. So at the Black and Global Business Network, we ask every one of our businesses to create at least 5 jobs, and we show them how to do that using government resources.
Melissa, can you hold on for a second? I
Sure.
just want to make sure everyone can see the slides. I see a few comments.
Oh, they can't see them?
We can see them, but they are blurry.
Are they? Okay.
This one is clear that just on your mission. I'm not sure. Can
Make your
everyone see this?
screen smaller, ladies, and then you can see it clear. So if you click out of the full Zoom pattern, and then it comes clear.
Is that me or for them?
That's for us. When I made my screen smaller, then I could see what was actually written. I can read now what's on her PowerPoint. But
Same
Okay.
here.
on the full size, I can't.
Okay. So where can I go? Maybe go back here? Does that help? I can't see anybody because my slides are taking up the entire,
Oh, you can't see the comments. You did have a question, someone that wanted to know, are you fluent in other languages?
I'm fluent in Japanese and I am and English. And Spanish is my second language, and I got a minor in Spanish at Howard. And what was very interesting is when I got ready to move to Japan to work for the Tokyo government, I had to go to the Foreign Service Institute for diplomatic training, right? Because I was a diplomat. And when you go there, you study Japanese. I had to study Japanese as a full-time job, and the government paid me to do that as my full-time job. And but I couldn't learn Japanese from English. I had to learn Japanese from Spanish because my mind wouldn't translate. And so it was really interesting. Fortunately, my Japanese instructor was married to a man from Spain. So she helped me to become fluent in Japanese. And you know, what was really interesting is when I moved to Japan, I didn't really think that they were going to really use a lot of my services, because to this date, I'm still the only non-Japanese person to ever work in their tax administration. And, but I was very surprised. I did a tremendous amount of work, not only for their tax administration, but also for their Ministry of Finance, their Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and for their Diet, which is the equivalent of Congress. So yeah, I got a chance to do quite a few things, but you know, again, my professional tragedy is I've never seen or served, which is my personal issue. I've never served a Black-owned company. And I just decided that if I continued down the path I was on, I was never going to do that. And I wanted to use my skills and talents to build my own community. And so I needed to figure out a way. And I didn't know how to translate myself or my skills to the market, especially after doing this for 20 years. And I met a group of people who helped to translate me to the market. And so they helped me to build the Black and Global Business Network. And when I tell you, I've been so amazed. We have over 1,100 members, which is like, it's like unbelievable for me. But yeah, we're on this mission to get the word out to as many people as possible to take advantage of these services that are available through the government. So can you all see the slides now?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
awesome. Okay.
I can see. You also had another question, Melissa. I'm not sure. I want you to get through your presentation, but someone wanted
fine.
to know if you were going, are you planning to go to Africa?
In terms of selling, or in terms of, what's the question? To sell or to work?
Mary Ann?
To work, thank you.
Oh, yeah. So I've been to Africa many times to work for different countries. I've helped tax officials in many different countries on the continent. And actually, one of my great loves is the African Tax Administration. And they represent 45 of the 54 nations on the continent of Africa. And so we are working with them because they have requested for the diaspora to bring our skills and talents back to help build the continent. And we're going to talk in this presentation today about a project, Prosper Africa. So when I get there, if you please remind me, I want to tell you about this database, because they want to find as many professional skill sets around the world, and for us to register our skill sets so that they can access our skills and talents around the world.
Absolutely, thank you. I will. That's where I'm trying to go myself, and I'm African diaspora as well from Eastern Africa. So thank you so much.
Okay, awesome. So our mission is to harness the power of Black minds to develop a network for Black international businesses supported and strengthened by Black excellence to build Black millionaires in the global economy. And so we say that's our mission because we're about legacy. Our long-term vision is that 10,000 businesses, the 100-year plan would be for us to produce 100 businesses over 100 years. So we really feel that we're building a base legacy now that our people are going to take, and our children's children are going to take to a whole different level. But we have become very focused on getting this information to the masses of our people. So what do we do? So you are the talent and we are your international team. We are international business development consultants, and we help you to take your business into other markets. And we do that by connecting you to resources within the government that can help you grow and scale. Now, here's our why. The federal government gives away about $25 billion in loans annually, of which Black-owned businesses only get about $750 million. That's only 0.03%. So you see these $25 billion in loans that go out annually, and this little sliver, we don't even get 1%. We don't even get 1% of that money. And the agencies that we connect you with show you how to get access to these funds to help you to expand. What's our other why? 95% of the world's consumers are outside of the US. And so what we're saying to our community is, why keep fighting to be tolerated when there's an entire world where your goods and services will be celebrated? And I can tell you, if you are an American business and you offer skills and services at an excellent level, you will find business internationally to be very, very doable, because American products and American services in English speaking is very desired. English is the language of international business. And because English is the language, many times people will hire English speaking services over other services. So I'm gonna give you an example of one person that I saw that did something quite phenomenal. She is, she's based at a university in the States. And when COVID hit, she decided, she was working remotely, she decided to go to the UAE in order to work. And she taught her classes, but she was living in the UAE. And while living in the UAE, she saw that there was a need, that most of the executives needed English speaking people, because the international business people could not find English speakers that could deal with the rest of the world. So she created a virtual assistant business where she got all of the clients that are in the UAE, and she found people in the US who had been hit by COVID and who were operating at a very professional level. And she contracted their services out to these executives in the UAE and started her business. And it just started as a side hustle, but it grew into something phenomenal. So when I tell you that there are people who are doing incredible things around the world, we really strive to show that. So each month we have a monthly meeting. And on those monthly meetings, we rotate, because one month we'll bring in somebody from the government that will actually tell you how you can go about accessing these services. And then the next month, we bring in someone who is a millionaire, who is actually building these businesses around the world. And it's really important to us to be able to show real people, right? Not somebody that seems so, somebody that's so different from us, because we're regular people. But I'm talking about, like our last speaker, he started in the US doing Airbnb. And Airbnb arbitrage is how he started. And when I tell you he grew from that to having 10 hotels in 10 countries around the world, it is amazing. Black-owned hotels. And he's not even 35. But he took a chance, and he moved, he made sacrifices. So he's a great example of people who actually, or a person who's actually living what we're saying. And here's our final why. The government spends your tax dollars to help businesses operate globally every single day. And when I tell you, there's not a business that you can name or think of, not one, that the government is not helping around the world, not one. And so it's the big, mega big businesses that you see that are on Fortune 500, Fortune 100, these companies use the government to operate around the world. And the government gives them contracts, and the government helps them to get contracts in other parts of the world. And so of that money that the government is spending of your tax dollars, less than 0.01% of Black-owned businesses collectively benefit from these resources. Less than 0.01%. So,
excuse me, before you move on, someone had asked a question about the loans. Are all the funds loans, and are grants also available?
Grants are also available. There are loans that are available. There are grants that are available. They do such a mixture of things. I've seen something called a convertible note, where you'll start out as a loan, but once you get to a certain point, it'll convert into a grant. I've also seen it where it converts into equity. There's so many different options of how people actually expand. So many different options. And here's the thing, all I'm asking for us to do is take the steps to try. You don't necessarily have to take any of the help that is available from the government if you don't want to. But if you're spending your tax dollars, I'm encouraging everybody to at least find out what's available to help you. So let's talk about that, the actual resources that are available. So at the Black and Global Business Network, we start with 3 different government offices. Now, as true to form with the government, I don't know why it can't be simpler. I'd probably be a billionaire if I can answer that question. But there are about 40 different government agencies that help businesses with global marketing. So at the Black and Global Business Network, we start with 3. We start with the 3 basic offices, and we help you walk through those 3 offices. So the first office that we connect with is the State Commerce Department. And for every single state, there is a Commerce Department. I'm based in Maryland, so there's the Maryland State Commerce Department, the Georgia State Commerce Department, Virginia State Commerce Department. And those state commerce departments have international divisions. Now, I didn't even know Maryland had an international division of its Commerce Department. I know the federal level because I work on the federal level, but I didn't know the state level. But I'm gonna share with you what happened with one of our clients. So she is doing gangbusters in terms of she sells these beautiful African motif dishes. And we connected with her, and I was so excited because she's the prototype business that I wanted to help to expand because she didn't know these resources were available. So I contacted the Maryland office on her behalf, and I showed her website, her Instagram. You know, she's been featured in Vanity Fair, in People magazine as one of the brands to watch. Her sales are large in Europe. And so, but she wanted to sell onto the continent of Africa, and she didn't have any inroads to do that. And so I contacted the Maryland State Commerce Department, and I met with the person who's in charge of the continent of Africa. And we talked through all of the things that this company could do or what they were looking to do. So they put me in touch with their representative on the continent, because the state of Maryland has agents, or they have contracts with 22 different countries, because they work to get Maryland businesses to be international companies and to have international sales. And the state governments allocate resources in order to expand the businesses. So we met with the representative in South Africa for her business, and holy smokes, she thought she was shocked. I didn't show her how shocked I was, but they gave her two services for 2 contracts to expand her into 2 countries. One is the country of Namibia, and one is South Africa. And they set up to move her into 5-star hotels on the continent. And do you know how much it cost her for that? Absolutely nothing. Zero for the state to help her do that. And so we were just blown away. We did not know that those were the kind of resources that were available. So from that, we started to reach out for clients in Georgia, in Virginia, in Chicago, in New York, to the different agencies. And we've just really been blown away by the amount of resources that are available. So our customer service, our client services representatives work with our clients in order to get them services from these agencies. And we always start with the State Commerce Department. And then we move to the SBDC, the Small Business Development Center, International Trade Center. So at the SBDC, most people know they have services on the domestic level where they work with small businesses, but they also have services on the international level. And they have specially trained agents that specifically focus on helping small businesses to build export plans. So let's say you're not sure where you are, you have an idea or concept, and you have a business or a service, because the other thing to remember, this is not just about products, this is also about services. So I, as a lawyer, I can sell my services overseas. We have a CPA firm that's selling their services. a bookkeeping service. What are the other services? We have so many different types of products at this point. But I wanted to share that so that you understand that it's not just products that are being sold, that it's actually services that are being sold as well. But the SBDC will help you to develop your plan, your export plan, so that you can go further along if you're not exactly sure of where you are in the process. And they can help you map out this plan. So at the Black and Global Business Network, we will connect you with the SBDC in your area for international trade. And then the third agency that we focus on is the U.S. Commercial Services. And I wanted to share this video. Let me see if I can get this video to play. Okay, I guess not. Nope. Okay. So the U.S. Commercial Services they operate in 100 cities and 80 countries. And I'm going to share this link on YouTube so that you can check them out. Oh, can you all hear it? You hear?
Yes, I
Okay.
can.
Okay, good.
Many U.S. companies of all sizes grow their business by exporting products and services to buyers around the world. If you want to start or expand your international sales to one market or 100, we'd like to help. We are the U.S. Commercial Service, part of the U.S. Department of Commerce's International Trade Administration. We are the export experts, with a global network of trade professionals located in more than 100 U.S. cities and in U.S. embassies and consulates in almost 80 countries. This is unparalleled global reach that can help any exporting business. The key focus of the U.S. Commercial Service is to help small and medium-sized businesses, the foundation of the U.S. economy, increase exports and expand into new markets abroad. When U.S. companies succeed abroad, everybody wins. Exporting supports more good-paying jobs in America and U.S. economic prosperity. 95% of the world's consumers live outside the United States. We advise U.S. businesses on what these consumers need and how to market them, online, on the ground, and around the world. We provide valuable and easy-to-access tips, tools, resources, and market intelligence. We offer personalized, one-on-one export counseling and other services tailored to unique business needs, leveraged by a global network unsurpassed anywhere else. We help businesses select the best markets and sales channels, understand the rules and regulations, find qualified partners, connect with buyers around the world, and recommend ways to finance exports. We also advocate on behalf of U.S. companies bidding on foreign public sector contracts so they can compete on a level playing field. Our U.S.-based experts help develop export plans and strategies to get you started. Our international experts provide the market intelligence and connections to help businesses get that first sale in that first export market, or numerous sales in multiple markets. And every day, our in-country staff advocates on their behalf for easier market entry, lower tariffs, and even help unstick products delayed in customs. Our staff is dedicated to working with businesses every step of the way to see them grow globally and succeed in the international marketplace. Whether new to exporting or experienced global professionals looking for more market share, they can contact the Export Pros at the U.S. Commercial Service. Visit export.gov to learn more. Brought to you by the U.S. Commercial Service, part of the U.S. Department of Commerce's International Trade Administration.
So let me ask, I'm going to do a quick poll, and I'm going to launch the poll, and it's going to ask for all of our participants, what is your global marketing experience? So tell me when you can see the poll.
We can see it.
Okay.
Melissa, you have another question too, after you answer your poll.
Okay.
Someone wants to know, what are some of the products and services needed internationally that you know of from your experience?
Okay.
And I had put in the chat, Melissa, you probably didn't see it, but whatever you need us to send out to everyone, we can send the link for that video as
Okay.
well. So we can, you can just keep moving. If something doesn't come through, we can
Okay.
forward it to all of the participants.
Okay. So we have about 73% of the participants, and we have, so 29 of 33 are new, 2 are expanding, and 2 are experienced. Okay, awesome. So, and if any of you who are experienced, do you have any experience with the U.S. Commercial Services? You can just come off of mute and share if you do. No? Okay. So I'm always curious about our international businesses and who has actually used these services.
I do. I do. I'm Chantal.
Who is this?
Chantal, with U.S. Commercial Services, with USAID, and the U.S. Embassy overseas. I do all the time. Therefore, 2 times already I present services.
And what kind of services do you sell?
I think her screen is frozen. I think
Okay.
she does consulting. I spoke with Chantel.
I help them how
Oh,
to
there she
export into the United States. Yes.
Say that again.
Can you hear me?
We hear you now.
We are helping small business entrepreneurs to export duty-free through AGOA in the United States. AGOA is the African Gulf Opportunity Act. We have in the panel the guests, the U.S. Embassy, sometimes the ambassador or the economic advisor. The USAID representative is there. A U.S. Commercial Services person is there also. Therefore, when we have an issue, U.S. Commercial Services person at the embassy is always there to help for export issues. And AmCham, also the American Chamber of Commerce, is there to help for business representing the U.S. Chamber of Commerce in the appropriate country in Africa.
So, and which countries have you been in? Have you held your service?
Right now, I did. I was a participant in February with the AmCham webinar they did in February. But last month, I was a keynote speaker with a USAID sponsor and the USAID Trade Investment Hub of the West Africa for the Democratic Republic of Congo. And I have farmers who need to import from the United States. I'm helping them also. This is one of the reasons why I'm building now my company here that I used to have over there. After COVID, we lost like so many people. But the USAID representative in Congo Democratic asked me to do another webinar. They really like the way I present the US trade policies via Africa, and also what it takes to export in the United States. That's what people don't really know. They don't know what document they need, what are the requirements. They struggle for that.
So you're importing.
I'm exporting mass services over there, and I'm helping importers to, people want to import from the United States to Africa also. I do both.
Okay. So you're going
I'm
both
going to need
directions.
for the grant that I need. I'm working with the SBDC of where I am in Santa Fe, New Mexico. I went to the World Trade Month where I learned a lot last month, and I'm doing whatever it takes to better serve my service over there. And maybe in the future myself, I will import from over there to here and here to export to there.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. So
Welcome.
yeah, the U.S. Commercial Services is a very, very vital service to anyone who's interested in exporting. And if you're creating jobs, they are tasked to help you and will provide you with a one-on-one counselor in order to help you do that. And the thing that gets challenged with most of our clients is the amount of documentation that is required when you go to places like the U.S. Commercial Services. What I love about what they do is they will literally do these services for you at very low cost. So for example, one of the things that they will do is to get you international partners. So let's say that you want to sell into Ghana and you want to sell your services there. So they will work with the embassy, through the embassy in Ghana, to actually find you local partners who will either buy your services or partner with you in order to deliver your services onto the continent. And that service costs 900 US dollars. And so for 900 US dollars, they will help you with 5 different partners. And one of the things, so let me back up a little bit. So I've been working with the national headquarters for the Commerce Department and the U.S. Commercial Services team, and also the headquarters for the Small Business International Trade Division. And the Small Business Administration has a division that is totally dedicated to building small businesses for international business. And as I was talking with the SBA Small SBA International Trade Administration, they said, well, Melissa, if some of your members don't have the money to pay the $900, there are grants that are available to help them cover the $900. So we can show you how your members can get money to cover that cost. And so that was awesome, because now you're talking about being eligible for grants that can help you to offset that cost. And the other cost that you incur is what is called website globalization. And so as you begin to sell into other parts of the world, you have to have your website updated so that it's acceptable in different countries. So let's say that depending on where you want to sell to, the images that are acceptable in one country may not be acceptable in another country. Your website may be in English and you may need it to be in French or German. And so the U.S. Commercial Services has a service where they actually do this website globalization. And the cost in order to get this done is a whopping 100 US dollars. I couldn't believe, I was like 100 US dollars to get your website globalized in order to go into another country. And one of our clients, the U.S. Commercial Services Office, actually did her website globalization for free. They didn't charge her anything. So I'm sharing all that to say that the resources are different from state to state, because you have the state resource with the state commerce department, you have the local resource with the Small Business Development Center, and then you have the federal resources with the U.S. Commercial Services. And so you have to find for your business how you fit into what fits best in order to help you to deliver those services. So we talked about earlier, let me clear this out, a project called Prosper Africa. Here it is, okay. Because one of our missions, we want to increase trade worldwide. So we will expand into any country. As I said, I've worked in 50 countries at this point and trained tax officials in 153. So we have connections in places all over the world, but we have a special connection in the diaspora, and we want to increase trade in Africa and the Caribbean. And in Africa, there is a project that's called Prosper Africa. And it's the increase in trade and investment between the US and Africa. And I wanted to share this trade opportunity. I know that we're coming short on time. I'm actually gonna, let's see. I think I probably have to. Tell me if you have problems seeing the screen. I really want to share this. Can you all still see the screen?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, awesome. Okay, let's see. Okay, does not look like this is working. Okay, so that's not coming up. Oh, yes, okay, good, okay. So this is a project, Prosper Africa. And what you will find is that on the continent, there is a huge request for those of us in the diaspora to bring our skills and talents back. And the US government has allocated a significant amount of money through Prosper Africa in order to help increase trade between the US and Africa. And we really want our people to take advantage of these resources. And I was sharing with you earlier, my focus has traditionally been on the tax administrations, because one of the things that happens is when companies move into quote unquote developing countries, they oftentimes have tax holidays. And so they will set up in countries for a while and take the funds out of those particular countries. And then those countries are not left with much after that. But people like me will go to, and I volunteer my time to do this part. I don't get paid. I volunteer my time, but I will actually work with the tax administrations in those countries, and I will share with them how I see countries in other parts of the world structure multinationals that come to their country, because when people come to the US or multinationals come to the US, they don't get a chance to rob the US to the extent that they do other countries. So I share with them what I see happen in other countries so that they can build their arsenals of resource or their capacity so that they can protect their tax base. So as I've been talking with them, and we had a conference in April, and that the African Tax Administration Forum participated in our conference. And they shared so much about the projects that were happening with the African Union, with their 2065 agenda, just so many things that are going on. It was just quite a bit. But the key thing that stood out to me that they said they needed help with was the database that they are building. And this database that they are building, they are looking for the skills and talents of everyone, all Black people in the diaspora, to register what our profession is, what our skills and talents are, so that when they are looking for help, they have a database to go to. Now, this is what's really interesting about that database. And I'm going to, as a part of my slide presentation, I'm going to share this with you, and you can take this presentation and you can access their website. What's really interesting about what they're asking is, I said, do you need help? Are you looking for help? Well, let me back up a little bit. So I've worked with the African Tax Administration Forum since they started their inception, 2009, really 2008-ish, from conversations. But, and I was living in Paris at the time that they started to form. And so, you know, I saw all of the investment, all of the people that were interested. And so I would ask a question, and they would say, well, Melissa, we see European people, we see Chinese people, We see white American people. Where are the Black American people? And I would never have an answer. So, so when I contacted them about the Black and Global Business Network and how we wanted to connect and see how we could bridge our services, they contacted me back, which I was amazed by. And they said, we could not believe that we got your request to participate in the conference because we were looking for a way in order to bridge so that we could create this database. And they shared the information that I just shared with you about the database. And I said, well, I know a lot of people who do tax or international tax or CPA work, and we can help you with a lot of that. And they said, no, we're looking for people from all different walks of life, because when we don't understand how a business operates, when we don't understand how e-commerce operates, when we don't understand the pricing on how Google Ads operates, we need people with expertise that can tell us this is how the pricing works. So we're looking for anybody who is willing to register and share their skills and talents. And we would be so grateful. We're asking the diaspora to bring out their talents back to the continent. And so I definitely said yes. I said, whatever we can do, we're going to share the word and get the word out. So I'm going to share my presentation with you so that you can see how you're able to access this project. And then you'll also see how you can access Prosper Africa as well. Okay, how do I go back? Did I lose my slide?
I have a question, Melissa.
Uh-huh.
Just from my own experience, Prosper Africa work only with three regions in Sub-Saharan Africa: the West, the East, and the Southern Africa. They always keep the Central African region, and we figured out I make advocacy since last year. I continue to make it. During the last World Trade Month, I really network with so many people, and I have the advantage to present my case, and I think they heard me. Even someone advised me to wrote comments during the AGO eligibility countries for 2022, and also to apply to be a member of PAC, DBAA, is a President Advisory Council on Doing Business in Africa. Prosper Africa is present at the PAC DBIA. Therefore, this is a great opportunity to exchange with them while we are there to advise the President, the U.S. Commerce Secretary, if I become a member. They really need to listen to us. The Central African region is the richest region. It has one of the biggest countries in the Sub-Saharan Africa, the first larger country, and they always ignore. It's not a matter of language. It's not a matter of skill. People are there, and we are a big diaspora here. They need to listen to us. Every time they have an event, it's always somebody from another region, never us. That's why I voice myself in places like this, because we have no choice. It's always someone from Nigeria, South Africa, and when in Southern Africa, you see an Indian or someone from Holland representing. They're doing the World Trade Month a webinar on Africa. Only one Black person was there from, all of them were from somewhere else. I say, you cannot find them, we are here.
But, and I agree with you, and I think it's,
and the last point, when we have minority business agency, when you have issue for Africa, it's always a Caribbean person talking about us, somebody else except us. We exist. We know better the continent. We know better what is at stake. I work like for Prime Minister Office, for United Nations. I was a coordinator twice. We are experienced, but they never look for us. The last one in June with the WTO person, they always want somebody. Where are we? We don't exist. It's always the lady from Johnson, and so no, yes, she's great and so, but we want to see something else. She's not the only one.
You know, I'm really glad that you're voicing.
And I have to speak in both languages. Every time I have a voice, not in French, it's all in English. I have to translate. Nobody take care of that consideration. I speak Lingala, I speak Swahili, I speak Sango, I can express and empower people. But we never dare, they never found us, they always find somebody else to replace us. This has to change. I want to be a member of that EP, the fact we can express the real concern. Now we have a volcano over there, people need help. Prosper Africa can help over there, but it will go somewhere like South Africa all the time.
Right.
It's full of people from India, Netherlands, and British.
And so, and I'm glad that you said that, because here's the issue that we face. We're not asking for a seat at somebody else's table. That's not what we're asking for. We've created our own table. We held our own conference. We didn't invite anybody out. Every single person that came to our conference was a Black person that we chose. So we're not looking for anybody else to build for us. That's the whole premise of the Black and Global Business Network. So I can be very transparent about that, because if you're looking for a go along to get along type of spirit, that's not who we are. We have specifically turned away from begging anybody for anything, and what we do want is what our tax dollars contribute to. And since we have to pay taxes like everybody else, we want a piece of the pie just like everybody else. And so that's why I didn't go through the normal channels in order to create our team. I went straight to the African Tax Administration Forum, and they represent 45 of the 54 countries. And so that's why I think it's important that we create our own narrative. We're not asking them to create the narrative or to invite the people to speak on our behalf. And I think that's a very key point. So let me bring this up about the Caribbean, because this isn't even this is an interesting point as well. I shouldn't say even more, but the time is short, so I'm gonna have to rush. So in this slide, and you'll get a copy of the slide deck, it talks about the US trade with the Caribbean and how there is a big push for small business development by increasing trade in the Caribbean. So as a part of our conference, what we met with CARICOM, and CARICOM is the conglomerate of 19 different Caribbean nations that have come together to create one economy in the Caribbean. And they operate actually, they cover a lot of different areas, but our area that we focus on is trade and commerce. And we had the Assistant Secretary General of CARICOM to come and speak at our conference. And so we had a very candid conversation with him. And once again, he said to us, Melissa, I see Chinese in the Caribbean, and I see Russians in the Caribbean. Where are the Black people? Where are the Black Americans? We're right in your back door. He said that he wanted us to see the Caribbean as a big field, and they have so many needs. So what he agreed to do was to set up trade missions between us and the Caribbean, because right now, I mean, he told us about a program that they have that's called Digital Nomads, where they are trying to encourage digital nomads to come to the Caribbean, stay at the resorts and work from the resorts and live there tax-free. That is tax-free. I almost packed my bags, but I got a husband and 3 little children. So, but the amount of services are so great. So someone asked the question about the different products and services that I've seen around the world. So I'm just going to tell you some of the things that the CARICOM, and that's spelled CARICOM, and I want to make sure I do that because 88% of you are new to global marketing. But for CARICOM, listen at the different products that they shared with us. Website development. Website development, you really need people to develop websites? Yes, we need people to develop websites. We need, because I asked him, name some of the different services that people would find to be unbelievable that are really needed in the Caribbean. Copying was another one. And I said, what do you mean by copying? He said, the Chinese come here and they provide all the services for the governments to make Xerox copies of everything that we need. We still use paper. And something as simple as Xerox copying, the Chinese have a 90% control over that market in the Caribbean because we don't have the copy machines, we don't have the technology, so we buy it from them, and then they come over and they provide the services. I said, wow, that's quite amazing. We're much closer than China. Other services that I have seen, green technology, alternative energy, farming, different agricultural products are needed, like he talked about in Georgetown, Guyana, and there are many services like this in the Caribbean where they will give you land in order to come and farm the land. We met with the cooperative of Black farmers, and they were from 17 different nations in the Caribbean, and they were meeting with Black farmers in America, trying to export the services of the Black farmers in America to the farms in the different parts of the Caribbean, because they're saying that it's only the major white farming corporations that are there. And so they needed the skill set. They even want to use the farming equipment. It was just quite amazing to me. Another one was construction equipment exporting, which was like, if they are building hotels or building a port or some type of facility where they didn't have the equipment, that you can export a backhoe or some different types of construction equipment. And now listen to how this works. You purchase the equipment in the US, you have a broker at the border, and the broker takes your product and then leases your product out to the government in that country, and the government pays you in order to rent your construction equipment. So it was just so many different things. I mean, I was just really blown away by just the different things that people are doing or that you can do. So let me wrap this up. So at the Black and Global Business Network, you connect with Black global professionals. So our team, we have teams of international business and international tax experts. And our goal is to move you from being Black and local to Black and global. And again, our focus is on Black international economics and accessing government resources. We want to increase trade, and we're a network where we bring Black international business and tax professionals together to serve our people. So we have 3 different levels of services at the Black and Global Business Network. One is we call the Essentials Package. It's a do-it-yourself option. So now let me tell you, everything that I'm telling you, you can do it yourself. There is absolutely, positively nothing that we are creating that is new, other than the fact that we created it as a service. So you can join and at the $27 monthly subscription, and you'll be able to come to our monthly training. You'll be able to learn all the stuff that I'm talking about, and you can go out and implement it for yourself. Then we have what's called the Black and Global Momentum Package, and that is a group option where you work together with others in a group. You have an accountability partner. Everybody gets assignments, and you move out in lockstep. You have quarterly meetings, and you work together as a group for everybody to move along. And then we have the expansion package, and that's $14.97 a month. And that is the option where we do all the legwork for you. So literally, we organize every meeting, we make every phone call, we set every appointment, the forms that you have to fill out, we fill those out. You have to be available for the meetings, and we clear your schedule for that. But literally, we are your international team, and we take you from your concept to contracts. So in July of 2021, we have an open competition. And we have an open competition where we're going to be taking on 10 new clients. Now, our total number of clients that we're going to be taking on for the rest of the year is just 20. And we don't take on a lot more clients. We're offboarding some clients that we're very happy that have been successful. But because we offer a very high level of engagement, we don't take on a lot of clients at one time. We take on a lot of clients in the essential package where you have a monthly meeting. We take on a certain number in the momentum, but for the actual hands-on where we do it for you, we only have space for 20 clients right now. And for 10 of those clients, we're going to offer scholarships of $1,000. So the package is $1,497, and you have the option to compete for a scholarship for $1,000, and you pay $497 a month. And we're going to give you a, if you would like to get more information about that option for the competition, you can fill out a form, and which will also be in this package, and you can just let us know if you're interested in participating. And these are the different ways that you can connect with us at the Black and Global Business Network. So I hope that you've enjoyed this presentation. Do you have any questions?
For anyone that chose I believe it was the 1497 package, typically, what's the time frame that it usually takes for you to take someone from like the initial, application with you to possibly a contract, a global contract?
So it depends on where you are in the process. So if you have been operating and selling in the US for 2 to 5 years, now I can tell, so for 10 years plus, you're definitely under 6 months, definitely under 6 months. If you have been operating 2 to 4 years and you're not, and we have to really get you prepared, it's going to take you about a year. So, and I'm sorry, what's your name?
My name is Safrania.
Safrania, okay. And thank you for asking that question, because you brought up a very key point.
You're welcome.
For me, we are building businesses for legacy. So we're not building for short term, right? So here are some requirements to work with us in that program. First, if you are currently working or employed and you have your own business, you have to keep your job and you have to keep working while we're going through this process. If you're currently running your own business, you continue to run your business. If you are working a job, you keep your job, because what we don't want is for people to leave their job to run after this contract. We're building for long term. So we build infrastructure. So you're gonna have to have your service that you provide. You will, the accounting, the legal, the total infrastructure. You'll be creating 5 jobs, because the goal, what we do with people is we make sure you're not the 6th job. So we work for you to actually create jobs for other people, because that's where the government will help you. If you're creating a job for yourself, that's going to be less likely. But if you're creating a job for somebody else, then they will help you do that. And so what we tell people is, because you are in the process of creating jobs for someone else, you need to build a long-term business so that people can actually be employed with you for a long period of time. So thank you for that question.
I have a question,
Thank
Melissa.
you.
Yes.
Let's say that I would like to export commodities. I would like to export soybean and corn, for example. Why there people are for the warehouse, the agriculture sectors, the transportation, all that is creative job. The job that you're asking is something that nobody else have a job that is new, like a secretary of accountant or something like that?
No, it can be any type of job. So for example, supply chain, let's say we're doing supply chain. And supply chain so let me explain what that means so everybody can follow me. So many times when you are selling globally, there are different parts of the chain that you're contributing to. So let me give you a coffee distributor, for example, as one of our clients. So they are importing into the port in New Orleans, as an example. And when the coffee comes in, it comes into a roasting house. So at that roasting facility, they do everything. They pick the beans up at the port, they dry roast them, do all the cooking. I don't know all the steps. I just know they do everything, package it and sell it online for you, right? So it's called the supply chain. And what happens is along the way, you're creating jobs. So in that roasting facility, you're creating jobs. People have been laid off because of COVID. Now you can bring people back to work because you're bringing in more commodities, and that will create jobs. So it's in many different sectors. And the beautiful thing is, which is something new that I learned, is you can also do indirect exports. And so if you are creating a job, even though it's not directly exporting a product, but you are indirectly creating a job, they will help you with that as well.
And I will apply. How should I apply? You gonna give the link to apply?
Yes, we're going to do that. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Because I
Melissa,
already
I had a
have a
question.
customer there and the producer, but just to help.
Okay.
Melissa, I had a quick question for you.
Yes.
You're speaking about indirectly creating jobs and keeping the position you're in for some time. So we have an organization that's been around for 14 years here in Dallas. And part of it is really bringing people together to network within the East African region and the US. So is that something that you think would be beneficial as far as that package for the 1497?
So let me ask you, for what are you exporting?
It's not necessarily exporting. I guess when I say indirectly, it's having people come together to do just that, to export, or bringing business within the region to here, whether it's import or exporting.
Okay, so if you're going in both directions, yes. So if you're going in both directions, because, and here's the thing, and this is something I stress to, I think Tara, I'm not sure, but before we do an interview, before we take anybody on, because we want to make sure that we can help you, right? That's why we don't take on a lot of people.
Okay.
So yeah, so we go through that process of making sure that we will help you. We actually reach out to the 3 different government agencies before we onboard you, so we can make sure from them that you can benefit from their service.
Very good. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. There's a hand. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I was going to tell you someone had their hand raised. Talissa Morrow.
Yes, Talissa. Hi, Talissa.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm okay. I just had a question because I just started my business in 2020. So I'm fairly new to everything that's going on, but I wanted to get involved in selling my products like overseas and internationally. So I wanted to know, is this a program that I should invest in, or, I mean, because it sounds great, but I don't know if I'm at that stage yet.
What are you selling?
I sell cosmetics.
Okay. Are they licensed in the US?
Yes.
And how have you had successful sales in the US?
Yes.
Okay. So typically I would tell you no to listen, because as a new business, I don't want you to make this level of investment. So I don't want you to do that. So, but what you can do is, if you contact us and let us look at where you are, I want to put you in touch with who can start you, because it sounds like you can go to the Small Business Development Center and they can help you from there.
Okay.
And then you grow, and then you come into our level of service. But we got to make, how many years have you been selling in the US?
It's a year now.
A year. Okay. All right. And so you have e-commerce, everything is online?
Yes.
You know, it's such a catch-22, and I'm gonna tell you why, because our dishware company, March was a year for her. March was a year for her. So it's like, you know, she's doing so well. And I don't want to tell you no, but I can tell you, don't spend any money, and don't spend any money with us right now. You know, you can reach out to me, tell me that you came from MP Services, let us look at your business, and then I'm going to tell you where you should go. Don't sign up for anything right now.
Okay.
Okay. And then
All right.
someone asked about healthcare services. So can I tell you, one of our clients is creating diagnostic clinics on the continent of Africa. So yes, ma'am, we definitely do healthcare. That is something we definitely do. There was another question, Dr. Pamela.
And you have
Yeah,
three.
hello, Melissa. I
Hi.
was inquiring as to whether or not staff training and development would be something that should be considered for export. My business is about almost 7 years old come July of this year. And we are a professional and management development training company. So I'm just kind of wondering, if that's something that would, be of service. I have my NACE codes. I'm registered in SAM. So
Yes, yes, and yes, ma'am. Okay, so I'm gonna give you an example. We have one client who is a digital, I have to not run people together. Sometimes I do that. They do digital summits, right?
Oh, wonderful.
She had this awesome idea to train women on the continent of Africa to deliver digital summits.
Wow.
And so, we got her, we opened the doors for her to be able to work with doing that type of training. And, again, I'm literally amazed. That's why I'm telling everybody, just try. You don't know what may or may not be available. And then are you staffing, what type of staffing are you doing for any particular industry?
No, we're not doing any we don't staff for any particular industry. We provide training in various areas. It's like 6 core areas. So it's like workforce development and training, soft skills training for the workplace, human resources training, leadership and management development training and coaching, things of that nature.
Okay, so like, for example, there's another, do people have to get certifications in your area?
No, ma'am.
No, okay, they don't have to, because we have a company that's doing that. They're selling certifications in other areas. So I have seen the staffing, the international staffing services, and so definitely I would encourage you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, then we have EMC. That's weird. I know that's corny, huh? How you doing? I can't hear you. You're still muted. You're still muted. No, we can't hear you. It shouldn't. Now you look like you're unmuted. Can you turn your mic up? Still can you all hear her? Can anybody hear?
No.
Okay.
No.
Check your computer to make sure you're not muted on the computer.
So while she's doing that, Andrea, do you have the link that I sent to you for everyone to fill out as to whether or not they want to be considered for one of the scholarships? Do you have that link?
I sent the link that you sent with the poll and where you could subscribe to your newsletter. I don't have the other link.
So if you look in the last email that I sent you, maybe the last two, it's a form, and it says open competition for July. Okay,
I'll look and send it right now.
Okay. Can you type, Alicia, can you type your question in? Because we still can't hear you.
In the meantime, Melissa, I just want to share one little thing that happened to me last month.
Okay.
During the webinar, the online webinar with the AmCham and the US Embassy, my presentation was cut off. This is the reason why we want now, if we have a presentation from the United States, that the webinar has to come from the US to avoid those kind of things. The presentation was great, but when it was my turn, I was cut off. If I provide a service to come also not to use like Google Meet, but Cisco WebEx or Zoom or anything else, because those are the kind of challenge that I went through.
Oh, wow.
Webinar about kind of in the middle. But what was great at the end of the presentation, the closing remark of the US Embassy, she told everyone, she said, even though you cut off, that's the presentation that I like. They want to use my transcript. I say, no, I need to finish my presentation before you give it to people, because that was the best part, how to export to the United States, how you want to give it to people. This, I translate everything, and this is my intellectual properties. I don't want just to give it away like that. But we want to control better what we send over there. But this is an example for all the people. If you present to Africa, you better have your presentation from the US online webinar than having there, seeing issues happen.
Yeah, I have been there. We pre-recorded all of our sessions so that we avoided that kind of question. There was a question from Carmel. Do you also do work with Exim Bank? So we do connect you with Exim Bank as well. But that's further down the line, depending on where you are, because Exim Bank can help you with getting the financing and the funds available. Let's see.
Yeah.
Oh, here, okay, here is the poll. You did that, I see that posted. What's the low cost dollar amount, the 900? What challenges have you experienced based on doing international business? So I experienced quite a few challenges. So, and this is not for the faint of heart. Let me just tell you, because this is a new frontier for a lot of our businesses, and you have to be willing to stay the course. And language sometimes can be a challenge. Culture can be another challenge that you run into. Americans tend to be very innovative and quick and fast and moving, and sometimes we can be quite impatient when we're doing business in other parts of the world. But being culturally sensitive, I think, is a huge challenge for some companies that I have seen and I've worked with in different parts of the world. And just the paperwork, because for some businesses, they actually start small businesses with a document that is 193 pages just to get started. Who's gonna do that? Who's gonna do that? I sent an email to the Secretary of Commerce, and the caption of my email was, Black businesses need help. How much of our resources, how much are we benefiting from the Department of Commerce? And can I tell you, I got like a flood of responses from everybody there, because I'm saying, who's gonna fill out a 193-page document? This is ridiculous. This is how you turn small businesses away. And this is impacting my people. So we need to change this process. So as I continue to go through this process, that's why I created Expansion, because initially I was just gonna tell everybody, just go here, go there. You can get it done, but you're trying to run your business, and you're the expert, and you're not gonna go through the process of filling out all of that paperwork a lot of times. So that's why I created a division of our group that will actually do that service for you, for our people who really want to take their business to the next level. Can you globalize in more than one country? Yes. Do you have an update on the current administration regarding the Prosper Africa? Current administration, I'm not sure. Okay, so we are over by, okay, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm over by 30 minutes. I'm sorry. Y'all gonna beat me. Okay. Are there any other questions? Let me see.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
And so you were just trying to find out if the services would be appropriate. So I know you were speaking to the other lady. So I also do the consulting for human resources with the recruiting and also expat services as well. And I was trying to find out if you knew if there was a need, for those services.
Give me an example. So you're recruiting for What you would recruit for who?
So currently in the United States,
Uh-huh.
recruiting for different positions. So like headhunting, different things like that.
Okay.
So I
So-
actually,
So you would be exporting your headhunting services overseas to find, yes, yeah. So that you would be finding talent for other companies, right?
right, in addition to other things in the HR gamut. So
Such as,
employee relations, compensation, things of that nature, even training and development as well.
so let me give an example of some things that I've seen. You have people who are in the States that are moving overseas,
Mhm.
and they need so much assistance with relocation and removal and getting their all of the people lined up and moving to the other country. That's indirect. You're exporting overseas. If you're looking for people that are looking for, they are based in I don't know, in the Congo as an example, and they're looking to hire an American physician, right?
Mhm.
Then your business could be, your service that you would export is that you would be willing to find an American physician.
Yes.
for that, yes, so that's exportable. That's an example
Mhm.
of what you do. The question would be in what area, like what industry, is it medical? Because they will need to know where to target people that are looking for expertise from overseas. And one of the things that makes it more doable now is a lot of the services can be done online.
Mhm.
So let's say, for example, you don't necessarily have to relocate the person overseas, but you can recruit position for people internationally, and the person in the States can provide their service online internationally.
Right.
That's exporting.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. I hope we can, okay, yes, feedback. Okay, now, so thank you all. I appreciate you. I'm sorry for going over. I hope you all enjoyed the presentation. So we're going to send you the presentations, and I'll make sure that we send you the link. Tara, the link is at, Andrea put it in at 7:27 p.m. That's the link form for you to fill out if you are interested in getting more information on the competition for one of the open spots.
And we'll also
I have a
send an
question
email
real
with
quick.
the link as well. So if they
Okay.
don't get it here in the chat, we'll send everything in an email to everyone that's on.
Okay.
Okay,
There was
someone had a question?
Yes, ma'am. I have a question. This is Isha McKinney. My phone was acting up, and I had to log out and then log back in. And I just want to make sure that I didn't miss any good information while doing that.
Okay. Go ahead. What's your question?
Well, I'm in the field of medical aesthetics. I own a med spa out here in Houston, and I teach women of color or all skin types how to go ahead and properly take care of their skin, because I'm in the technology sector. And I've been training doctors and estheticians over the last year, and I've been in the industry since 2011. And I do really want to grow globally. And I just wanted to see if my business was fit so that I can go ahead and take it to the next level.
So you would be selling services to train doctors like dermatologists or estheticians in other countries?
Yes, ma'am. And I will also be teaching people how to do proper skincare regimens, because there's a lot of just misconfusion and people don't know exactly where to start. So my whole sector would be educating people on technology abroad and in the United States.
Have you started to build your class as of yet?
Yes, ma'am, I have. And then I also do distributorship. So I have a partnership with a company, and I sell medical technology as well.
Oh, and what kind of medical technology?
IPL lasers, laser hair removal, microdermabrasion machines, anything that's med spa related. or like body contouring. It goes even aggressive to taking off skin tags, moles, you name it. That's the industry that I've been kind of holding in on.
Okay, so for medical devices, I would say definitely. If you have if you have a background where you sell medical devices, are these third-party sales where you're selling somebody else's devices?
So recently I've been in contact with my own distributor. So it is my own. However, in the past, because I started working in the industry, I know all the local people, like InMode and Sciton and all the big guys.
Okay, so for medical devices, I would say yes. For the class, I would say no. I would say don't make the investment for the classes, because you are going to have to you're going to have to choose a market that is going to actually buy the skin services. So if we were selling to a physician, I could say yes, because that's B2B. And that's mostly what we're going to be doing is B2B, business to business. But it sounds like for the skin, you're talking mostly to customers that you're selling to. So I would say no. So let me say this. I can never say no, because your dream is your dream. You can work out whatever you choose. But for paying for our services, I wouldn't pay for our services to help you do that. But for the medical devices, yes, I can, because you're talking about finding hospitals or medical facilities or spas and 5-star hotels. Are you kidding me? That would be looking for your. Oh yeah.
Yes.
That is.
And, you know, it's so interesting that I caught you right now, because I've been like dying to get on this call, and I'm like, oh my God, I've already done one huge deal, which was with the Kalahari out here in Houston, or in in Austin. And the response that I got from it, I'm like, oh my God, I'm ready to go global. I just don't know how to.
You sold, what did you sell?
It was a hydro dermabrasion machine, but a lot of people are interested in getting oxygen and, rejuvenation to the skin right now, especially due to COVID. And so it's a device that a lot of these high-end spas are using to rejuvenate the skin and get O2 oxygen in, and it's really, really fancy, and I love it.
Yeah, and you would do well in the UAE. And for example,
yes.
in Dubai, they have a trade-free zone, which to me, again, is mind-blowing, because you, as an American person, can go over and set up a company there. They'll give you all the skills, all the talents, go find you the customers. They'll do all of that in the trade-free zone. You just come over there and set up. You don't even physically have to go, but you would be able you would be able to sell in their trade-free zone. But y'all gonna get me in trouble. I'm at 7:37.
Oh, you're good, Melissa. Just quickly though, someone wanted your information. Alyssa, I think that it may be a good idea. We also do networking events, so please look out for that. During our networking event, we just share and support one another. So everyone's interested in contacting everyone else. So if you're interested in putting your information out for others to contact you, when we send you the email, if you can just indicate that's what you want to do, along with maybe your website or something, we can kind of share everyone's information.
Okay. All right. So, and then I put my information in the chat and the website. But yes, definitely. I'm going to send the slides, and at the end of the slides, it has all of our contact information on all of our social media channel. So I'm so happy. Thank you for inviting me. Oh my goodness. You just don't know how it warms my heart. I really want us to really sell and expand around the globe, because we have the talent to do it. We just don't know how. And that's what Black and Global is for.
We appreciate your excellent presentation, and we hope to do another soon. We'll talk about part 2. That is one of our goals at MP Services, is global marketing. And as you all see, Melissa is very knowledgeable. So we are going to take full advantage of that. Are there any other questions? We don't mind going over, Melissa.
Okay.
we just try to keep it to an hour. So thanks all. You're getting very good feedback, Melissa.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So can we invite you in an event with diaspora with African women in North Carolina, the diaspora?
Sure.
Okay, it's next month. We let you know and we work around your schedule.
Okay, definitely.
With great food and great Congolese music.
Dr. Pamela Wiggins.
Yes.
Hand is
Yes,
raised.
I'm so sorry again. Melissa, just absolutely fantastic presentation. I do have one question though. So my background also is in higher education, having been a college academic dean, as well as currently a part-time adjunct professor in business and organizational leadership. Is there a need for higher education consulting services overseas?
So tell me exactly what you would be selling.
Well, it's not anything that I would be selling, but providing consultation in higher education in terms of, you know, what are the best practices that are utilized in higher education today? You know, what are some of the best learning formats, the LMSs, learning management systems that are utilized for higher education? You know, given COVID-19, how do we transition from, you know, we've already transitioned from the classroom to online, but how do we begin to transition back to the classroom safely? How do we utilize hybrid methods of learning in the classroom as well?
So I would say, what I would encourage you to do is to start at the Small Business Development Center. Because
Okay.
it sounds like you have to find your translation. You're very smart, you're very talented, you know you have the skills to offer, but you got to figure out how to package it and sell it. And that was me, because I did not have any clue. You couldn't have paid me to believe I would do what I'm doing right now. It's
Yes.
like, I'm a tax lawyer. I travel the world. Let me tell you, when multinationals don't pay their taxes, I love it, because I'm hunting your backside down in some part of the world. You would have never paid me to believe that if I focused on my people, I would get here. And
Right.
so it just sounds like you need to figure out the translation piece.
Okay.
And so I wouldn't make the investment right now. I would go to the SBDC and start to talk to them and figure out what is it that I can sell as a product. Because when you talk about COVID and transferring back to the classroom, putting the procedures in process,
yes,
that to me sounds like something that is marketable overseas, because people are going to think that if it's coming from the US is ahead of the curve, the US is the epicenter for COVID. You know, if these are expertise, she's going to be valuable. And so what you'll have to figure out is how to package that, because they will have to take you and go to the university. So let's say you said, I want to go to, you know, find me 5 universities that are looking for people with expertise in how to translate A, B, C, and D.
Okay.
And so at Black and Global, we don't do that. We take you, at least not in the expansion package.
Yeah.
So starting with the first package, yes. With the group package, yes, because you're working with other people and you're figuring it out. But I wouldn't make the investment for expansion for that. So once that translation clicks in, you're almost there.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I just want to say something. I want to say to Melissa, thank you so much. This was an excellent presentation. And I would definitely like to, when I say get your contact, would like to talk to you one-on-one, just to talk about my business as well. I have professional services as well, offering languages and in technical expertise in the area of technology, trying to put that all together and take it to Africa. So, but I would also like to say, Dr. Pamela, Africa needs your talent as well. And I was just wondering if I can work with you, if we can talk about more, because I know the market's available, you know, to the area I'm trying to take my business to.
So that would be excellent. So that, Pamela, please contact her, because she can help you if she knows a market and she can help you translate it, and you can package it and put it together in a capability statement, and then shoot me the capability statement. And then I can take that and I can go to the government and say, this is what she wants to sell. Because they want an identifiable product. So that's awesome.
Okay, wonderful. Yes, I'm always about networking and, you know, being a prime contractor or either a subcontractor with another organization.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm seeing a lot of talented people here, and I can't help. And I know the market's available. It's available for most of you who are here today. So
Yes, I will put my information in the chat for you.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, you're very welcome.
Awesome. Okay, well, did we lose any other questions?
I did have a question.
Okay.
How does graphic design services fit into this network of trade? And
how many years of experience do you have?
I have over 10 years of experience.
Okay, you need to call us like yesterday because you fit very, very well, especially in the Caribbean.
Okay.
They are looking for graphic artists. They need help getting their websites up, their designs, their social media, the this, the that. I'm just, I'm going to tell you, it's so interesting because I just assume, and I know these talents have to be there. I know these talents have to be in these places. I choose to believe that the talent is not mine, right? That's how I'm going to choose to believe. But they say that there's just a need for anything digital nomad, digital technology, anything social media related, website related, all of that there's a huge need for that particular area.
That's what I want to hear. I will definitely contact you. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a huge need for that area. So, and there was a Dorissa.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice picture.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So I'm in Maryland as well. Hi, neighbor.
Hi.
And I am in the mystic and psychic services industry. I'm actually creating an app called CosMusic that will give people their own personal theme song based on their astrology, and it'll also provide astrology reading and other astrology related information. And so I am interested in, of course, marketing that app globally, doing all the things that I can. I also have a couple of inventions in mind that are related to the app. And so I would like to know, in terms of the mystic and psychic services industry, what have you seen or what do you believe is the potential for that in terms of being able to export goods or services related to that industry? And do you have any tips or any advice?
What is your app done?
It is currently under development. I do expect to have it finished within the next couple of months.
Okay, so I have never seen mystic or psychic services. I've never seen that industry. So I can't guide you on that service being sold internationally. But what I can give you information on is, have you ever heard of TEDCO?
TEDCO, yeah, and yeah. Mm-hmm.
Have you contacted them?
It's on my list of things to do.
I'm gonna give you a whooping. You need to hurry up.
Okay.
So TEDCO is an awesome place for you to go because they have all these services. I was just at a training with them on Friday, and they are looking for women, Black women, to take their tech businesses global and to help them to build. So I don't know about your industry, but in terms of having a tech product, I would highly encourage you to reach them as soon as possible, because they have, like, for example, Black and Global, we're working on a project where we will be able to help businesses to learn using AI, the artificial intelligence on your cell phone, how to train on doing exporting, right? Because like I told you, the government gives you this 193-page document. So we went to TEDCO to ask them to help us with doing that. They set us up to do a pitch. I was like, what? This it's like, what? A pitch? Wait, this was just an idea. So, so please go to them this week. Can you give me a word?
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. That sounds like a plan.
Thank you.
So
Okay.
I have another question.
Okay.
So I did put in in your survey that I am new to trying to, do some global business. So what would you tell someone like me? What should be my next steps from here? I mean, I'm, just getting out the womb.
So, but what's your professional service? You've done HR for a long time, right?
Yes, HR
Okay.
for a long time here and consulting for a long time.
Right. And do you have a business?
I do.
Right. And you said it's been operating for how long?
Since 2017 here in Georgia, in California and in Texas as well prior.
Okay, but a separate business, not working a job.
Right. So I'm doing both.
Okay. So, but if you've been selling your services in the US, that's not new.
Right.
So,
no, but I meant new trying to, get global service,
right.
export my services.
Yeah, most people they're going to be new exporting overseas. So the first question is, how long have you been selling in the States? So if you are selling for less than 2 years in the States, then I wouldn't suggest that you get started with our expansion program. But if you have professional services that you have been selling for a period of time, then yes, you definitely can benefit. Like say, for example, one of the CPAs that we're helping to export, she's been a CPA for 20 years. So she's selling her services. So I would encourage you to start at the SBDC. And the question is, you have to package what it is you're going to sell. That's what everybody has to do. You have to create a company profile and a capability statement that says, I'm going to sell A, B, C, and D. So like, let's say for Black and Global as an example, I thought I was going to sell international tax services, but what I actually sell is helping businesses to connect to the government to export. So I am an indirect exporter. So I'm doing indirect services. And that's what I mean by, so someone helped me translate what it is that I could sell. And it's different from the product that I actually do. It's connected, but it's not exactly the same. So if you go to the SBDC, where are you in Georgia?
I'm in the Atlanta metro area.
Okay, I'm from Georgia. That's why I asked. I'm a Georgia girl.
Okay.
So, but yeah, so you go to the SBDC and ask them to help you figure out an export plan. And as a part, and listen, don't let them turn you back. Don't let them turn you back, because you tell them, first thing you say out of your mouth, I want to create 5 jobs. And anytime you experience resistance, but I'm creating jobs, that is the linchpin language that will keep that person employed, right?
Yeah.
So you tell them you want to create jobs. I need you to help me figure out what it is that I can export overseas. For 20 years, I provided this service in the US. And here are my skills and talents. What can I export overseas? And here's another trick of the trade that I encourage people: start with Canada.
Yes.
Start with Canada, because Canada, that's something I should have said earlier, because Canada has a similar market. And Canada, and if you need your website to be globalized, they can do it in English and French. And because French is spoken on the continent of Africa, English and French, then your website, if you start in Canada, then your website will already be in French. And it's a good connection for you to make that move. But if it's your very first time, so it's a very, not an easy market in that sense, but Prime Minister Trudeau and their team, for the very first time in history, just created a Black entrepreneurship program from the government. They've never had such in Canada before. So it is a very good market to get into for Black people in particular, because they're encouraging entrepreneurship. And then you don't have the language barrier, and the US's #1 trade partner. So when you talk to the SBDC, tell them that you want to sell into Canada.
Yeah, the global companies that I've worked for, I've been the HR partner with Canada for over 12 years.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, but when I was in Texas and I was doing the consulting, they did turn me away.
Who
They
turned you
did
away?
discourage the SBDC. They did discourage, providing these services globally, and told me that there was not a market, that these things were not marketable.
So if they tell you that, give me a call.
Okay.
Give me a call, because see, that's when I get upset.
I'm a little older. I'm a little more persistent now.
Because they're not going to open the door for us. We're going to have to open it for ourselves.
Right. Right.
And I have a client today that it's $25 million on the table, and that's like a drop in the bucket. I'm so mad that they would turn, and and the thing that is so difficult for me with them is they think that they're doing you a favor. That's how they couch it. Like you don't want to waste your time, and they don't want to get your feelings hurt. Just be quiet and sit down and give me what I need. And that's why I tell you, don't let people turn you back. You can feel free to reach out to me if they give you discouraging information, and I'll help you open the door.
Yeah, I subcontracted for a lady who had $1 million contract just to make an employee handbook, which I did. And
in Canada?
No, not in Canada. I can't remember where it was, but I was like, okay, I need to definitely move, get over there.
Yes, ma'am. I see it all the time. I see it all the time.
Can I quickly say, this is Wiz, Melissa. I've been on the call. A bit of advice for California is that, yes, California, yes, is that as BDCs, the level of services that they provide is contingent on two things from my experience. One is the individual you're addressing to have expertise in the area you're asking for the request. That's one. Second of all, it depends on the state itself. For instance, if you take California, Florida, international trade is the backbone of the economy. So a lot of people within SBDC have expertise within that realm. For instance, New York, from where I'm at, depending on the area, the people that they service never exported before. So I definitely agree with you. You should not be discouraged if someone turns you down, but also diversifying your approach. I do not only benefit from services of SBDC in one area. I look within my area and say, okay, is there an SBDC in Manhattan, in Brooklyn, in Queens? So you really have to diversify the way you work with them. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that.
Thank you. And that's why we focus with the SBDC International Trade. Those are the only offices that we work with. And he's very right. If you work with people who only focus on domestic, but most people don't know that they have experts who actually get licensed to be export experts, global export experts. And those are the ones that we work with.
Okay. Very, very helpful today. You just don't know how much. This is a godsend.
Awesome. I'm so happy. Any other questions? Do you have customers in the packaged food industry? When you say packaged food, do you have certifications in the US for the food? So let me give you this answer. The US Agriculture Department exports like in an insane amount. So exporting food from the US is huge, it's ginormous, but you have to have certain licenses in place and you have to meet certain regulatory requirements. So we would have to know that you've met those requirements and you have those certifications in place in order to do that. If we are working with the SBDC, we don't need to come to you. No, I wouldn't come to us if you're working with the SBDC, because you should already have the counselor in place and you should already, they should connect you with the U.S. Commercial Services, and they should connect you with the person that is in the state. So you come to us if you don't want to do the work. If you want us to do the work for you, that's when you come to us. Now you can do the monthly membership, which is $27, and we do meetings like this and we answer questions like this, and then you get a chance to see people in real time who are using these services. And the group session, you can do that as well if you're working with SBDC, because the thing that I find with us is that it's just, we intend to do it, but we don't do it. You know, and we need accountability. And that's why in the group session, we have accountability markers. But, you know, we really look for people to keep moving. You have to be committed to doing the work. And we don't, so, and then the other thing is our time commitment for the week is 5 hours. That's what we ask everybody to dedicate, 5 hours for the week. And so we focus on the busy professionals. So we're married, we have children, we have, you know, families, we have, you know, jobs, we have all of that. And so that's why we focus on, we have the service to do it for you, because we're focused on the busy professional. So we ask for 5 hours a week, but I want some of 5 hours, people. I want some of 5 hours of dedication to the mission. Okay, so I think that's it. I think we got all the questions. Well, thank you all. Just curious if someone in U.S. Book and Tax Services bookkeeping would have anything. Yeah, so we have an accountant right now who's offering bookkeeping and tax services internationally. So those services are sold also.
And can you say the name of your organization one more time, please?
Sure, it's the Black and Global Business Network. I'm going to put it in the chat. Okay. Well, thank you all. It's 8 o'clock. You all have a great night, and hopefully we'll see you at the Black and Global Business Network.
Thank you so much. Good
Take
night.
care. Good night. Good night.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Melissa.
Thank you.